So here's a board that I recently reworked, and I've just recently added on the battery terminals on the back here, so there's flux everywhere. I've just recently put on these terminals for mounting an LCD and a keypad, and it's pretty grimy. You probably won't be able to pick it up in the video, but it's pretty grimy on the top surface there. So the procedure is, I'm already up to temperature. That's the important thing. Get it up to temperature before you put in a board. So it's up to temperature, 60 degrees, so it's not, you know, really hot, but it's quite hot to touch, so that's why I don't go much beyond the 60 degrees. So it's a case of pop the board in, and then what I like to do is run the ultrasonics for about 2 minutes. Normally about halfway through that, I'll switch it off, turn the board over and give it another go. And I'll also manually assist in the flux removing process by using a little sawn off paintbrush here, where, you know, just chop the bristles down so it's actually a little bit stiff in there. So you'll see me do that. You might not be able to pick up anything I say because it's quite noisy. So off we go. So I'll just let it sit there for, you know, maybe about a minute, just to let it do its thing. There's a few components on this board that I haven't fitted yet because I don't want to immerse them in any water-based solution, and one of them is the voltage reference for this board, the LM399, because it's an encapsulated product. It's, you know, it's got a heater inside it, and you know, it's not completely sealed, so I don't want that filling with any kind of water and causing any harm to the LM399, because it would be particularly hard to dry out afterwards, which you'll see that process in a minute. So it's been going about 50 seconds now. So normally what I like to do is, with the back of another brush, just hold the board down. You don't want to move the board around on the bottom of the little cage there, so I like to hold it in place, and then I'll just lightly go around the places where the most of the flux is sitting, like on the connectors that I've just fitted there. A little bit of helping hand from this little sawn off paintbrush does it the world of good. What I also like to do is just run the length of the board as well. That gets rid of any streaky marks that may have appeared, or any fingerprint marks and that sort of thing there. So there's another connector there that I just recently soldered, and one over here, and then up and down that side there. So that's that side complete. So now what I'll do is I'll turn it over. Always switch it off before you start handling the PCB again. So I'll turn it over. PCB is actually quite hot, but there we go. And I'll immerse it again, and then off we go again. Again, I'll hold it there, and I'm on the back of the battery terminals here, just giving another manual assist. And then up and down the length of the board again. Just get rid of any streaky marks. And that's it. And then I'll turn it over back the other way for the remaining 30 seconds or so. Okay, so that's it done. So the next thing I've got to do, I'll have to rinse the board, because of course it's all covered in this soapy solution here. Now, and what I'll use for that is, I've got a little tub over to the right hand side there. We'll just move across. This little tub here is filled again with the deionized water, which I'll use to just rinse the board. So you can see all the soapy marks all over it there. So I'll pop the board in, and I'll just swirl the board around in the bottom there. Just give a manual helping hand there, and then pull it out. Just get rid of most of the water there. Now of course that board's absolutely soaked in water, and I need to dry it off. One thing you could do is you could just sit the board on its end somewhere and let it dry by itself. That's the worst thing you can do. Water will just promote corrosion, and you want to keep corrosion away from the tracks and the ICs and all the rest of it as much as possible. So I'll assist the drying process with a heat gun. So we'll just go along to my drying area and I'll show you that working. There's two boards that I'd recently done. So normally what I like to do is I'll sit the board on there and then grab my heat gun, and then from a fair distance just dry off the board. What I don't want to do is overheat the board, because I don't want to stress the components. This is a precision board, so you know I want to keep any stress to a minimum. So just a light heat there. I'll turn the board over. It's still, you know, it's warm, but it's by no means hot. And then do the reverse side, making sure you get the heat into the sockets there, because that's where water will sit. And any other holes on the board, in the vias, all that sort of thing there. And then turn the board over, and then I like to give it another go again from the front side. Good enough. Now it's just a case of letting that board sit, and it should dry the rest of the way itself. But probably what I will do, so what I usually do, is I'll let it sit for about 20 minutes, and I'll actually go back and go again with the heat gun, especially on the QFN package and the Atmel processor there, because it's going to be very easy for water or moisture to sit underneath the IC where it's sort of semi-insulated from the heat of the heat gun. And that's one reason why I did the back side there, to let the heat transmit through the board so that it can help dry out moisture or water underneath the ICs. Of course, you know, moisture and water is going to sit underneath these SO8 packages as well. So I'll put it over to this side here, and then let it dry, and then get on with the rest of them. So hope you enjoyed that.